Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Common Council of the City of Huntington for March 11th, 2025. Prior to the business meeting beginning, we'll have an invocation led by Pastor Scott Rainey of Huntington First Church of the Nazarene, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Christy McElhenney. All those who wish to participate may rise at this time. Pastor Rainey.
Pray. Father, we come before you tonight very thankful for your goodness and your grace. Thank you for your incredible world that you've created, the universe. Thank you for the beautiful weather that we've had. Thank you for signs of spring and newness of life. Lord, as we begin to move toward this special season of Lent and Easter and all the things that are coming in these days, I pray that our hearts would be attuned to you and that you would have your way in this city according to your good measure. Lord, I pray for your blessing upon this meeting today. Mayor Richard and these council members, thank you for their service to this community. We're very thankful for them. Lord, have your way in everything that's said and done. May you be glorified in our life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with that, we'll call the meeting to order, beginning with a roll call. Christy?
Brodigan.
Here.
Chapman.
Present.
Belton.
Here.
Funk.
Present.
Johnson.
Here.
Pike.
Present.
Rensberger.
Present.
Thank you. And not aware of any public hearings for this evening, we'll move along to consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting of February 11th. Is there a motion to bring the February 11th minutes to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the minutes? Not seeing or hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of the motion to adopt the minutes as submitted. Christy?
Chapman.
Yes.
Belton.
Yes.
Funk.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Pike.
Yes.
Rensberger.
Yes.
Brodigan.
Yes.
Thank you. And moving along to reports from committees, boards, or commissions. Charlie?
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Paul?
I have nothing here.
Dwight?
Nothing here.
PJ?
Nothing this evening.
Todd?
Nothing here.
Andrew?
Nothing to report.
David?
We met at the Plan Commission last Thursday, and I showed up. It was great. So the ordinance we have tonight is with that, and Bren is going to speak for 2 minutes on that. We can get through this thing.
And the ordinance that was referred by the Planning Commission, is that with the full
Yes.
support of the Planning Commission?
Yes.
Okay.
It came with a favorable recommendation, but Bren will give you the details on it.
Great. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, and under reports from committees, boards, or commissions, is that Viking Thing students presenting the State of the Youth Address. At this time, I'd like to invite their representatives to step forward to the microphone, and the floor is all yours.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us here today. I am Emma Working, president of That Viking Thing. That Viking Thing is a group of students from Huntington North High School who are voted on by our teachers to represent the youth of our community. The 13 official members are Hannah Augsburger, Emma Alford, Gage Byerly, Anna Clampett, Lindsay Deggetts, Carson Eckert, Maggie Hall, Dalton Husband, Aubrey Landrum, Carly Maddox, Ellie Stevenson, Lucy Vickery, and myself. As That Viking Thing, we meet every other Wednesday to discuss both how we can become leaders for our community and what we could do for the benefit of our community. Early this school year, we hosted a teen town hall at Huntington North High School to gather ideas from our peers about what they felt needed attention in our community. One theme that stood out above all others was the lack of activities and spaces for teens to gather and enjoy themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Augsburger and I'm Vice President of That Viking Thing. The need for after-school programs and recreational spaces is not just a local issue, it's a national one. According to AfterSchool.org, in the entire United States, 24.6 million children don't have access to or do not participate in extracurricular activities. In Indiana alone, there are about 417,000 youth of all ages who would be involved in an after-school activity if there were one available to them. The situation is even more critical in rural areas where the demand for after-school programs has risen significantly. Between the hours of 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., more than 160,000 children are left unsupervised. So why does this problem persist? There are multiple factors, but one major issue is cost. Many families who have multiple children simply can't afford extracurricular activities. Additionally, the pandemic significantly disrupted after-school programs, leading to many being canceled or never fully resumed. This left many young people without opportunities that they once had.
Good evening, I am Emma Alford, and I am currently the secretary of That Viking Thing, and as a group, we just want to thank you again for giving us this opportunity to speak to you. At our Teen Town Hall, we also asked students what they would like to see in the community. The answer was clear. Teens want safe, affordable places to connect with their friends and to have fun. Many students also expressed their interest in clean, well-maintained parks, including improvements to the skate park at Yeoman Park, which is located in a residential area and is easily accessible to many teens. We as a group have decided to focus on creating more community spaces and opportunities for connections. One way we are doing this is by adding new amenities to General Slack Park, a location we chose due to its position in Huntington, which is central. Specifically, we are proposing the addition of 9 Square and Gaga Ball. These games are simple, inexpensive, and can be played by both small and large groups. These types of activities might seem small, but they have the power to create meaningful connections and foster a sense of belonging in the community. We believe that one step the City Council can take to help bring these ideas to life is to engage more with teens in the community. We want our voices to be heard and to have a role in decisions that affect us. Giving teens a seat at the table and shaping our community will lead to more balanced and impactful decisions for everyone.
Another key concern raised during our Teen Town Hall was a lack of age-appropriate shopping options in Huntington. Many teens are forced to drive to Fort Wayne to shop at popular stores like Old Navy, Francesca's, American Eagle, Tilly's, Dick's Sporting Goods, Buckle, Bath & Body Works, Hollister, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and many more. This means spending time and money on gas to get to stores that should ideally be accessible right here in our own town. Affordable entertainment options were also a major topic of discussion. Teens today enjoy activities like laser tagging, go-karting, and trampoline parks, but we don't have enough of these types of venues in Huntington. We've heard stories from older generations about the energy and vibrancy that Huntington once had, and we want to work together to bring that back to our town. We understand that council cannot directly bring these shopping and entertainment venues, but we encourage continued support for the Huntington Destination Downtown Master Plan. This plan could help draw in the business we need while also attracting tourists and visitors from nearby areas.
Another issue that came up as a major concern was employment issues. Many teens struggle to get even an interview at local businesses, and when we do get a response, we're often told that we need experience. Yet how can we get experience if no one is willing to give us a chance? We are asking you to support local businesses and offering job opportunities to teens. This isn't about giving us handouts, it's about giving us the opportunity to prove ourselves and show that we can be responsible, hardworking members of the workforce. Our generation is often labeled as lazy or unwilling to work, but if you give us the chance, we will demonstrate that we are capable and motivated. Alongside this, there's an undeniable need for more affordable quality programs for teens in Huntington. Many of us feel that there's a lack of opportunities for personal growth and community involvement. We want to help fill that gap. We know that some of the ideas we are proposing to you today may come with challenges for local businesses and employers. However, we're eager to be a part of the solution. We want to see our community flourish, and we're committed to contributing in any way that we can, whether it's through taking on jobs, helping create new after-school programs, or simply working to improve existing community spaces. We appreciate any opportunity to help you help us.
In conclusion, more age-appropriate activities, job opportunities, and improved recreational spaces are the key issues to what matter to the teens of Huntington. By introducing Gaga Ball and 9 Square at General Slack Park, we believe we can start to meet the demand for both entertainment and community engagement. We deeply appreciate City Council's willingness to listen to our concerns, and we are excited to work together towards making Huntington a better place for everyone. These improvements won't just benefit teens, they'll enhance the entire community. Together, we can create a more vibrant, inclusive, and engaging environment for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, at this time, any words of affirmation or questions that you have for the members of that Viking thing? Before council's comments, again, students, we're very proud of you, and we appreciate your effort that went into presenting that material. We could tell the time and preparation you put into that. Council members?
I have a question. What is 9-ball and Gaga ball? Because I don't know how to explain it to anybody that's asking me if I don't know what.
Okay, so first, 9 square. If anybody's heard of 4 square, that's on the ground, you bounce. 9 square is basically 4 square, but in the air with 9 squares. And in the middle, you have your king or queen, and they're the one who serves the ball. And the goal is to not let the ball drop through your square. So you have to hit it over. Sometimes it's a little more challenging for short people like me because it's pretty tall, but it's honestly really fun, and it's something that I personally enjoy. And then Gaga ball, you're basically in this circle, kind of octagon shape, and you have a ball, and the goal is to hit it and hit other people in like the legs, and your goal is to not get out. So you can only hit it with your hands, and if it touches anywhere below your knee, you're out.
So what type of area would these, are you talking about like an asphalt area? Is that your plan for putting these in that park, an asphalt area that's so big, and then you play on that? And then the other, is the one thing suspended above it?
So they would be separate areas, still in the same park. For Gaga ball, it's more likely to be dirt or sand or something where the ball can roll.
Okay.
Concrete is not really what we're looking for, because if you fall, you're gonna bust everything.
Okay.
9 square, you can put that really anywhere, whether it's on concrete, grass, mulch maybe even. It's just whatever is currently in our budget.
You're talking, I mean, these are both pretty inexpensive to do then, basically, right? I mean, if you don't have to pour slabs or anything like that, it's not gonna take a whole lot of money to get these started for you, right? Okay, good deal. Thank you.
I would just say I'm impressed by your research. You represent yourselves and classmates and ultimately the school very well. I can tell by your report that a lot of time and thought in all of this. Thank you very much for.
And also good job to the three of you for presenting that and everyone for representing that Viking thing. Good job.
Was there any talk about what kind of jobs you guys would like to do as far as, you know, for companies that?
So there wasn't like a particular place or thing that we were thinking of, but most teens, the main place that you can find a job is a fast food place, and now those places are filling up. So I know me personally, I've applied at restaurants and things like that, and some of the other people in our group have, and other people at our school. So there's not really a particular job or a workplace that we're necessarily looking into the most, or company. It's just wherever we can find a job without having experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I will tell you, if you're doing an interview with somebody and they say you don't have any experience, you should ask them this question: which is better for you as an employer, to have somebody that might have experience but bad habits, or somebody that will do it the way you want them to do it? Because I will only know your way. So if you're with an employer, that's a really good question to ask them, and you got them right there, okay?
Anything further, council members? Again, thank you for your presentation this evening. Council, those further plans regarding the Gaga Pit and 9 Square will be brought to you as they continue to develop, as that Viking thing works with Elizabeth, myself, and Steve Yoder in the Parks Department. So, thank you. All right, moving along on the agenda, any petitions or comments from citizens?
Not this evening, thank you.
Not aware of any old business. Moving on to consideration of new business. First reading of ordinance 4C25. Christie?
Ordinance 4C25. This ordinance, if adopted, would amend Chapter 156 titled Subdivision Code of the City of Huntington Code of Ordinances by making certain revisions.
Is there a motion to bring ordinance 4C25 to the floor for consideration on first reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Director Kaplinger.
Yes, thank you. As Councilman Funk indicated, this matter has been referred to you from the Planning Commission, where it received a unanimous favorable recommendation. Subdivision control as a concept has been around in the city since 1956. That was when the first code was adopted. The current code was adopted in 2000, and in 2014, when we split off from the county department, that was where we saw really the first sort of amendments, if you will. They were minor, technical, mostly name changes, things like that. What is the subdivision code? The subdivision code is a set of parameters that regulate both the creation of new lots, and that is whether we're talking a multi-hundred unit subdivision or, you know, buying an acre or something, or 5 feet from your neighbor, or those sort of things. So its applicability is fairly narrow in terms of those folks looking to interact with property lines in that particular sense. Provided you with a memorandum, some facts and figures, as well as a red line version. I'll just kind of hit the highlights and then open it up if there's any particular questions. Just in terms of what we're seeking to address, there was an impetus for this particular change, and I am of the opinion that if you're going to go through the motions and undertake that sort of work, you should try to get the most bang for your buck in terms of amendatory things as you possibly can, and bringing some of those standards up to modern thoughts, and in order to not have, you know, a perpetually outdated code, because again, if we're going to draft an ordinance, take it through Planning Commission, things like that, we should strive to make it kind of the best within the expectations that we set out, the time frame in which we have to work on, and those sort of things. So in the definition sections, there are 2 additions, 2 new terms that Adam and I worked on to define, and then 3 edits. Again, I talked about the primary impetus. The primary impetus for this, as you'll see for the red lines, is in how we define the minimum amount of road frontage. And as that relates primarily in the adjustments to those lots having their frontage entirely on the circular portion of a cul-de-sac. Those lots are not our typical rectangular or square-shaped lots because of that cul-de-sac, and so they kind of end up being pieces of pies. By and large, their overall lot area is statistically larger than the traditional lots, and so because of that, we're going to try, I don't want to say squeeze perhaps, but we're going to try to create as much efficiency in that land in terms of creating lots, because obviously it's better for the city, it's better for development patterns if that sort of density is maximized in an efficient way, while recognizing that there's setbacks and all sorts of other things that go along with that. So again, the impetus for the change is how we calculate the minimum road frontage on the cul-de-sacs, and that was based off of some conversations that I'd had with some developers about some additional housing developments, and some of things that, you know, some of our peers are doing, and just another way of looking at that. Adjusting the fees across all 5 subdivision types, I went into that and provided you with figures on that. Those fees have not been adjusted since 2000. I've provided you both a peer comparison as well as an inflation adjusted, and so even adjusted for inflation, the fees that I'm proposing that you consider are just barely within that range, in my opinion. Some other adjustment, submittal copies for major primary plats, adding signature lines for the Board of Works. As you're aware, the Board of Works is now 5 members and not 3, so just making sure that nobody's printing a plat on a Mylar with only 3 signature blocks. That's pretty simple. Clarifying how we address on unnamed private drives, and then a couple of clarifications for design principles, when curbs and gutters are required, clarifying the 3-to-1 lot width to depth to width ratio, and when that particular lot requirement can be waived. Locations of sidewalks, whether those sidewalks are curb face at the street or at the back of the right-of-way, and that syncs up better with Chapter 100 streets, sidewalks, and right-of-way and elsewhere in the city's code. And then to clarify one thing, that the responsibility for new street signs, stop signs, those sort of things in major subdivisions are, much like the water lines, the streets, the sidewalks, those sort of things, the responsibility of the developer to install and not the city. We've had a couple instances in the past where the developer's been ready to go and come back and said, okay, put up the stop signs. It's like, that's on you. So making sure that that's clear in there. Allowing for electronic submission of as-built. Back in the day, it used to be all paper. And then as we've advanced in technology, specifically in the realms of GIS and other things, we then started accepting CAD files. That's gone by the wayside. What we want is digital as-built, basically in PDF form, and then 9 times out of 10 for a major subdivision, they're operating in that sort of same new technological era, and they'll provide us point files and shape files, and Adam's team is able to import that in seamlessly. So it's something that we've done in the past because technology, the code has not kept pace with technology, but just clarifying that it is a suitable way of doing with that. And then one other thing would be removing one of the 2 options for vacating a plat. The General Assembly has modified the state statute and removed that second one. We need to amend our code so that we're keeping up with that. As I talked, and for context, again, provided you a 5-year basically workload as it relates to those subdivisions. On average, we see 9 particular dockets in a given year. That's based off a 5-year look back. Those range from major subdivision primary, secondary, replats, not really vacation of plats. We don't see that too often. And so that is sort of where we're coming from. Ultimately, as I told Dave at Planning Commission and the rest of them, ultimately the fees are the prerogative of council. It doesn't increase our operating budget. It doesn't do that. And I can tell you that the fees that are being proposed, by and large, on average, are underneath those of the averages of our peers in the region, just for sort of that sort of neighborly context, and that we are still not going to fully cover our cost, and I don't expect that we will cover our cost. That's not what we're there for. All I'm seeking to do is keep up with inflation and provide a better balance in striking between the user fee charge and the taxpayer-supported fund. With that, any questions? I'm happy to address those. "39 seconds" is what you told me earlier today. Yes. Adam's timing me back there. Okay, great.
I want to say that it did pass Plan Commission, 4-0, 5-0, something like that. So just the main thing was just the fee, which was only, what, $1.50 or something like that. It was very minimal. Just nothing, you know. Everything else, he's so intelligent on this stuff, you know. You just sit back and just let him go and wind him up, let him go, and he's just right on the spot all the time, you know. But it's,
You're too kind, Dave.
Director Kaplinger, for the benefit of those who don't have the spreadsheet in front of us, could you share a little bit of what you found in the average of Northeast Indiana and how that compares to what you're proposing this evening?
Yeah, so for our most common, which is a minor subdivision, and we loop in the primary and secondary, we only charge a fee for the primary. The secondary, we do administratively, not before a committee or anything like that. So our current fee is $25. Like I said, that was established in 2000. The proposed would be to double that to $50. And so you may say, wow, it's a doubling of the fee. The inflation-adjusted price based on the Consumer Price Index is $45.64, and the average fee for that across, and I'll just name off the comparison communities: Angola, Auburn, Butler, Decatur, Garrett, New Haven, Huntington County, DeKalb County, Noble County, Allen County, Fort Wayne, Steuben County, Wabash County, Wells County, and Columbia City, Whitley County. Their average fee for what I'm proposing for the $50 is $173. So we are still well below those, but it would be erroneous to think that, you know, that fee is going to negate or dictate where any sort of things happen. We're talking about, on average, 9 dockets a year.
Any further questions or discussion by council?
I just might suggest that we wait We don't wait 25 years before we do another rate adjustment.
Noted.
Hey, Bryn, in the ordinance, I'm looking at the last whereas paragraph. It's got the plan commission vote as 5-1. Should that 1 be a 0?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I will make sure we amend that between the first and the second readings if you guys are so inclined.
I looked at it also, so.
Fat finger. Wrong side of the keyboard. My left fat finger.
Further discussion or consideration by council? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of the motion on first reading. Christie?
Felton,
Yes.
Funk,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Pike,
Yes.
Rensberger,
Yes.
Rodicam,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Under miscellaneous, first item would be the February financial reports. Christie?
Yes, seated, there's the 5-year plan. For February, we spent $89,262. For the year, we've spent $141,513. General fund, we have a fund balance of $9,061,189. The MVH, $1,926,937. MVH restricted is $604,625. Most of the MVH restricted money comes from half of what we receive monthly from the state. These are the fund balances for February. The Park Department fund balance, $166,473. Airport, $149,917. We have a revolving fuel fund in the airport with $90,111, and landfill fund has $91,850. All of our funds are in good order, and all of the accounts are doing well.
Thank you, Christie. Council members, any questions for Christie regarding the financials of the city? Okay, a few other items for update for council's benefit. President Trump's administration has conditionally released both the Indiana Finance Authority funds and the USDA grant for the city that was under review. And so we are proceeding with hiring the city forester position that council authorized in last year's budget cycle. We're glad to have that opportunity to move forward on those plans and projects. Additionally, the State House continues to debate issues related to local property taxes, SB 1 and House Bill 1402. Kendall Mickley, as County Council President, has been very instrumental in helping the State House members understand and appreciate how local property tax revenues operate to ensure that whatever legislation they adopt, it provides real relief to taxpayers if that's the goal, and it does so in a way that does not undercut the ability to provide local services. And then finally, the wheel tax that was mentioned a few council meetings ago, Representative Sweet contacted me and informed me that in committee it was amended so that there would not be a double tax on city residents, but if a city adopted a wheel tax or was required to adopt a wheel tax, those residents would be exempted from their county wheel tax. So that's a much improved look at that bill. So again, we're grateful here in Northeast Indiana to have representation like Senator Zay and Representative Sweet, who are taking our concerns to heart and sharing it within the caucus and the delegation. So, anything else for the good of the order? Not hearing any at this time. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
They all said aye. Was it boring for you guys? Is that
Not bad, huh? Not bad.